When I joined Egerton University, I didn't think the small radio tucked away in one of the buildings would mean so much to me as a filmmaker. Welcome back to Egerton Radio on 1.7 FM. This is Miles Jamal Abudo on your favorite morning show.
Welcome to Egerton Radio 101.7 FM. You are listening to Rumba Connect this lovely Wednesday, October 9th, 2024.
Egerton Radio 101.7 FM. Welcome. It is yet another lovely Wednesday, August 21st, 2024. Welcome to yet another episode, Kilizaji, this lovely Friday, August 23rd, 2024. It is time for Rumba Connect. As usual, I am your host, Miles Jamal Abudo, and in the studio today, make sure you stay tuned. We're following up with more Rumba. Then when we come back, we continue with today's discussion. Keep it Egerton Radio 101.7 FM.
At the time, I was still waiting for the right camera, the right set, the right opportunity. I thought filmmaking had to look glamorous before it could begin. So I waited. I spent more time at the radio. At first it was fun. It was just a fun place to be. A space filled with laughter, inside jokes and conversation with friends on air. We talked about everything and nothing, running topics just for the joy of it. I never thought those moments would shape how I see filmmaking. The background of the studio was cushioned, soft walls meant to block sound, not to create magic, but somewhere between the static and the silence, something shifted. It wasn't just a studio anymore. It became a stage, a world where sound could paint pictures.
Unajua ile kukimbilia ndoa kama vile tumesema like come we stay. Tumeanza something and then tukasema acha tukae pamoja.
Living in a toxic environment. And what they are seeing and what these children are seeing is bitterness and pain and hopelessness and frustration. So they hit back.
By schizophrenia. Hata kulala huyo mtu hawezi lala. But they don't lose the intellect. Oga anaoga. Lakini is too suspicious. Hata chakula huwezi kumpatia kama hajakutrust.
What controls everything you do, and the heart is the one which supplies all the nutrients. And
it's an emotional, it is an intense state whereby even the body in itself release so much of the stress hormones.
Eventually, I was promoted to host my own show, a mental health program that aired for over 100 episodes. It was one of the most meaningful projects I have ever done. We invited doctors, therapists, specialists to talk about mental health related topics, family conflict, heartbreak, and other quiet struggles people don't often share. That show made me realize that stories didn't need a camera to be powerful. They just needed a voice and someone to listen. At that point, I had started to bring a sense of film into everything I did at the studio. I recorded some of the guests on air, blending visuals and sound into short documentaries. One of them, the Heartbreak documentary, was even nominated at the Kalasha International Film and TV Awards. I also made my first short documentary, In for a Penny, right there, and later on, Don't Come Home, which pushed me to explore emotion and silence even more deeply. Most of my early short films and videos had one thing in common, that same cushioned studio background. It became a visual signature without me realizing it. Not because it was the best location, but because it was the only one I had access to. And somehow it worked. So direct. That studio became the canvas where I learned to tell stories with whatever tools were in front of me. During that time, I also wrote a visual script for a film series, but I didn't have the budget or the gear to shoot it the way I imagined, so I turned it into a radio play. It aired on the station, and surprisingly, it worked. Through that process, I learned about pacing, dialogue, silence, music, and sound design, things that would later transform how I approached visual storytelling. The radio became my classroom. It taught me how sound can replace spectacle, how timing and tone can pull emotion out of thin air, and how every project, no matter how small, teaches you something if you let it.
Egerton Radio. Egerton Radio, welcome back to Rumba Connect. It is 11:10 in the AM, August 29, 2024. You are listening to Miles Jamal Abudo with
Darlene Akenyi.
Darlene.
I've posted a few of my old radio moments on my YouTube channel, and sometimes people still recognize me from those clips. It's strange but comforting, knowing that my voice lived there before my visuals ever did. Looking back, I realized that Egerton Radio wasn't just a chapter in my story, it was the foundation. The people there, the ones who supported what I was doing, who lent me their voices, their laughter, or even just time in the studio. They were part of every frame that came after. To them, I'll always be grateful. I once thought I needed the perfect equipment, the perfect set, the perfect moment to start creating. But all I really needed was what I already had: a mic, a studio, a few willing friends, and a story worth telling. Filmmaking taught me to see the world differently, but radio taught me to hear it. And maybe that's what resourcefulness really is. Not making do with less, but realizing that stories you want to tell are already around you, waiting for you to start.